So when it comes to entertainment, the entertainment industry, things that are made to keep us entertained, there are, the failings of Disney as wokeness, as they have embraced wokeness and subsequently even embraced going brokeness. And of course, there's also games like the Spider-Man 2, where wokeness has also found its way into that. Oh, fun. Let's just hope GTA 6 does not want to go broke. Anyway, let's get into what video we're looking at today, because it's all ties in. Give me a second, okay? What is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, aka the Hokage of the village. Isn't that loud? You know what I'm saying? And shit, I ain't gonna hide it from you, bro, because it looks like maybe, apparently, are women ruining entertainment? Hey, don't look at me like that. This video is by the YouTube channel Mediaholic, and the person in the little circle that represents the channel, they appear female. So I'm just doing the reaction. Don't look at me like that, bro. Let's go.
You can absorb light. I can see it. And Kamala. Who's Kamala?
Hi.
She can turn light into physical matter, which I have never heard of.
I could totally show you.
No!
Ladies, are we ruining entertainment? In this video, I will attempt to explain why the answer is kind of / it's complicated. Over the past few years, a lot of people have been discussing how so many different franchises and IPs have been declining in quality due to going woke. And when people say woke in this context, usually they're referring to things like prioritizing diversity and representation over things like actual good characters and plots and commitment to source material. And I've made quite a few videos about this myself. In fact, that's largely all of the videos I make. And when I've talked about the motivation behind wokeness, I've largely pointed to just progressive politics. However, lately I've been seeing quite a few posts that instead of blaming progressive politics or any other type of social movement for wokeness in media, they instead point the finger at women. For example, the post that inspired me to make this video reads, Lego did a study where they created the Lego Friends line for girls, where they discovered that when a boy plays with a toy of a character, he tries to become the character, and when a girl does the same thing, she tries to make the character become her. So if you give a boy a Batman toy, he's gonna want to know everything there is to know about Batman.
Yeah, he tries to become Batman,
and he'll try to think and talk like Batman when he plays with the toy. The little girl...
I can attest to this, because every time I play a Batman game, that voice comes... Where is he? You know what I'm saying? That Batman voice. Anyway, anyway. I am Batman. I am vengeance. I am the night.
On the other hand, is going to make Batman go shopping, bake cookies, and go to the prom. That's not to say there aren't exceptions on both sides, but that's the data that allowed Lego to finally get a foothold on the girls' market after decades of failed attempts. If you look at how women approach things like Star Wars or remakes of animated movies, is it any wonder that so many of them want to reinvent the IP either by feminizing it or changing the main character to look like them? Now, I haven't actually checked the veracity of this post because, we all know no one would actually lie about a study on the internet. But assuming that it is true, it would explain, at least in part, why so many different studios under increased female leadership, we're talking about people like Kathleen Kennedy, why they would choose to not only
shout out to South Park and the Pandaverse,
certain more female characters and more diverse characters, but also in some ways choose to pivot the focus of various franchises like Star Wars, like the MCU, from things like battling with the dark side or more universal human truths, for example, to the much more relevant, much more topical issue of gender politics. Perhaps for someone, the only way that they can get invested in a story, in a movie or a show is not only by literally seeing themselves on screen, but also by seeing those characters deal with things that they do, or at least they imagine that they do in everyday life. And similarly, I also saw this post not long ago. It's a little meme, and we have a bunch of black girls looking at The Little Mermaid by Halle Bailey, i.e. Black Little Mermaid, saying now we can finally feel represented, contrasted with an image of a bunch of men from different nationalities looking at Goku,
hell yeah,
saying, yes, that's literally me. With
hell motherfucking yeah, bro. That's why that's other reasons to like get into the gym and shit like that. But like, bitch, what? Don't make me go Super Saiyan, bro. When I was in school, hold on. when I was in high school, right? There was this kid who every time he had an arm wrestling match with somebody, right? You could see him struggling back and forth, you know, going, it's going to be close. And then the kid he would randomly go, Kaioken times 20, and then just smash the other guy's hand. Like, brother, what the fuck? So it does go back to that study where men, boys, we try to become the character, where I'm guessing as girls, they try to make the character become them. Bruh, I don't know, man. Anyway.
Caption saying men can identify with the substance of the message, whereas women can only identify with the messenger. I want to be very clear here because I know I'm going to get comments about this that, you know, hashtag not all. Obviously, there are some women, and I would even go so far as to say a lot of women who enjoy watching movies or series or reading comics and books with the interest of not necessarily seeing themselves literally represented in a character, but because they're interested in, I guess, being transported to different worlds and different types of characters whom they can see themselves represented in through things like character or struggles. But at the same time, I also think there's a lot of truth to these posts, and that the feminine desire for on-screen representation has in a lot of ways led to these blatant self-insert characters and or the manipulation and degradation of existing franchises. We're going to be talking a lot about it, but first I do want to say thank you to today's sponsor, Beam. If you care about your health, getting a good night's sleep is one of the best things
I do like my health. I do care about my health.
Poor sleep can cause things like weight gain, mood issues, poor mental health, and lower productivity. And not only that, but I hate to break it to you, sleeping less than 6 to 7 hours per night is also linked to reduced white blood cells.
I heard about that.
As someone who has a toddler, trust me, I know how much a bad night's sleep can impact your day, and that is why I'm so thankful to have Beam. Beam's Dream Powder, if you haven't heard about it, is a healthy hot cocoa for sleep. And today, my listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their best-selling healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. It's now
if I use this, will the probabilities of me being able to lucid dream increase? Because then if I can lucid dream more, then I can go from lucid dreaming to astral projection. Y'all know nothing about that.
Available in delicious seasonal flavors like cinnamon cocoa that I have right here, sea salt caramel, and white chocolate peppermint. Better sleep has never tasted better. Dream contains things like a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. A recent clinical study revealed that Dream helped 93% of users wake up feeling more refreshed, and 93% reported that Dream helped them get a more restful night's sleep. What I love about Dream is that it's become a delicious and relaxing part of my nighttime routine. I mix the powder into hot milk with a frother, and not only does it taste amazing and give me a little treat before I go to sleep, but it actually helps me sleep better. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, take advantage of their biggest sale of the year and get up to 50% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Lauren and use the code CYBER at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Lauren and use the code CYBER for up to 50% off. I'm a bad sleeper. I always have been, and I know how much sleep can affect your day-to-day. So if you've been struggling, I encourage you to give Beam a try, and a huge thank you to Beam for sponsoring this video. Now, I know
sometimes I do take a while to fall asleep. I probably won't try it, but it's a good idea. Good question. Good. Anyway,
a lot of people who are watching this video who don't agree with me, who maybe do support things like diversity washed casting, they might be inclined to call me things like sexist or anti-woman, but trust me, nothing could be further from the truth. To be clear, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with wanting to watch media that you find more relatable. And I think if you look at the type of media and genres that women tend to consume, it is hard to deny that we/they seem to put a heck of a lot more emphasis on relatability than men do. For example, one survey that asked both men and women what types of books they'd read in the past year found that women were much more likely than men to say that they'd read something in the romance, mystery, thriller, and crime, or chick lit category, i.e. genres where readers are going to have a much easier time relating to a main character, whereas men, on the other hand, were much more likely to report having read books in the history or science fiction and graphic novels genre. And obviously, there are going to be women out there like myself who prefer sci-fi to romance, and similarly men out there who prefer true crime to history. But in general, it does seem like, yes, men and women do have different preferences when it comes to consuming media. And at least one of the drivers for these different preferences might be a woman's increased desire to see herself in a story. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It's just it's a thing. I personally am a huge true crime / mystery fan, but not really into things like romance or chick lit. But I think ultimately all genres are equally valid. It's just personal preference what someone might prefer. Where I think the trouble comes in, however, is when the desire to see yourself represented in a form of media becomes the central focus. And when it comes to that, it's not really a feminine versus masculine preference, if you ask me. It's more a question of narcissism and immaturity. And unfortunately, when we look at a lot of the creators behind modern day TV shows, movies, and comic books, yes, we are straight up dealing with immature narcissists. To illustrate,
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, like, especially in like some of like the red pill videos and stuff, women are the one that call men narcissists. And yet,
what I mean, take, for example, one of the writers behind the Spider-Man 2 game that recently launched. Now, as I discussed in my dedicated video about Spider-Man 2, the appearance of Mary Jane in that game has caused some controversy because
it's trash.
Here is the actress that they supposedly modeled Mary Jane after. As you could tell, very beautiful woman. But the thing here is what Mary Jane actually looks like in the game. And now, I'm not some sort of animation professional, but if you ask me, these look like two pretty different people. And as some people...
Also, I heard the reason that they did that was, or some people are saying that the reason that they do those things is because they're trying to make women in video games less attractive, therefore making them look less feminine, less like women, and more like a thing. And they're doing that to avert the male gaze. Yeah, same thing I said. It's dumb. Yeah, I agree with you. It is dumb. It's stupid shit. I agree with you.
Pointed out online, Mary Jane actually seems to have more of a resemblance not to the actress who she was supposedly modeled after, but toward one of the writers of the game. The resemblance is pretty uncanny, if you ask me, and it's not just the fact that this Mary Jane character looks like this writer that's causing people to say, hey, maybe there's some connection here. It's also the fact that this writer, in her own words, actually seems to prioritize, guess what, representation in her work, perhaps to the point of even including a heavy-handed self-insert into a game. As people have clipped from this writer Ashley's site, in her bio she writes that storytelling is impactful, no matter what medium it's in. As a queer and hard-of-hearing person, I am looking forward to learn about the world around me while still telling stories true to my personal experiences. I aim to write impactful stories with representation that audiences could see themselves in. Who doesn't want to see themselves in their favorite game?
No, this is just representation that you can see yourself in. And it's not actual representation that the consumer of the thing can put themselves into. You are just like the study from before. She just wants to see the character do things that make the character be her. She wants to see the character do things that she would want, that she would do, instead of like how the study in the beginning, they said, instead of how boys try to become the character, girls make the character become them. There's more evidence right there. She made the character become her.
I mean, if you ask me, probably people who are more interested in seeing Spider-Man in their favorite games than themselves, but go on. She also writes that I believe games are for everyone. They should be accessible and supportive of all players. Inclusivity, she writes, is incredibly important to me if you haven't noticed. Okay, like I said, there is nothing inherently wrong with wanting the media you consume to be relatable. But, and I think here's the catch, not all forms of media can or should be relatable. You want your romance novel to be relatable? Well, that just makes a lot of sense. Probably most of the women who do read romance novels are, when they're reading them, imagining themselves as the main character being swept off her feet. But relatability can only go so far, especially depending on the genre you're working on. For some genres, the point of it all is to not be relatable, or at least not relatable in superficial aspects. I think even a really good sci-fi or fantasy series should be relatable in terms of like human emotions and experiences. I mean, if I'm watching a sci-fi series like Star Wars, no, I don't need the character to look or act like me, and in fact, it will probably take me out of the series if they do. And speaking of Star Wars, actually including self-inserts is something that Kathleen Kennedy has been accused of with characters like Rey in the new Star Wars films, and also whoever that Phoebe Waller-Bridges woman played in the latest Indiana Jones. I mean, seriously, is it a coincidence that Lucasfilm's two biggest franchises under the leadership of Kathleen Kennedy now feature brunette young women as their main protagonists? There's nothing wrong with relatability, sure, but relatability was not the point of Star Wars, nor was it the point of Indiana Jones. And it's not just Kathleen Kennedy or that Spider-Man writer, guys. People online have been quick to point out all the different self-inserts that have a—
oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit.
Risen in entertainment over the past several years. And so, okay, you might be asking yourselves, we see the problem, but what exactly is the solution? And well, I don't mean to sound like a South Park ripoff here, but I think the solution is to stop trying to pander to these people. Not every genre, not every franchise is going to appeal to everybody, and that's okay. If you're someone, for example, a woman who wants relatability in your content, that's perfectly fine. It's all right if you have that preference, but when it becomes a problem is if you have the expectation that everything should cater to that preference. And to be clear, I don't think that most women do even expect every genre or franchise to cater to them. I mean, before all these different activists like Kathleen Kennedy started trying to insert themselves into media, it's not like there were tons and tons of women out there lamenting that Star Wars wasn't for them. Star Wars already had tons of female fans who liked the franchise for what it was. And the women who didn't like Star Wars for whatever reason, it's not like they were en masse demanding that Star Wars change to suit their preferences. Again, if you ask me, the problem that we're seeing now, it's not so much women at the core, it's these self-entitled narcissists. Again, the problem, if you ask me, isn't so much women, but rather these immature narcissists who not only demand this representation and relatability, but also do it in such a narrow and lazy way that it also hurts the overall story. But anyway.
And the ones who are making the stories, just like you see here in the self-insert thing, are women. The immature narcissist. Well, those ones happen to be immature narcissists.
Women who didn't like Star Wars to suit their preference. It's these self-entitled narcissists. Again, the problem, if you ask me, isn't so much women, but rather these immature narcissists who not only demand this representation and relatability, but also do it in such a narrow and lazy way that it also hurts the overall story. But anyway, those are pretty much my thoughts, and as always, I would love to know what you think. Do you think there is validity to the idea that men and women tend to, on average, not talking about specifics here, but seek different things in the entertainment they consume? And would you say the over-reliance on relatability is why franchises like Star Wars and the MCU have gone downhill recently? Let me know down below. That's all for now.
The latter. That one. Well, it would be, okay, it would be nice if they took the insecure narcissist, or not insecure, the immature narcissist out and just put like regular people, regular women and men that aren't immature narcissists as the ones behind the creating of the stories. That's what it would be nice. It would be nice. It would. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So as the title of her video is, are women ruining entertainment? I guess the answer is technically no. It's more immature narcissists are ruining entertainment. And right now, some of the ones that happen to be writing those stories and stuff happen to be women. So if we could get rid of the immature narcissists in general and just, like I said, put regular women and men and that like to create stories in order to create stories, that would be great. That would be awesome. You know, that would be a step in the right direction. But I never really noticed that with the study in the beginning, I never really noticed that how men and boys, they like to insert themselves. They like to become the character, and how women like to make the character become them. I never noticed that, but I guess it makes sense now. Huh. Like, especially with with that self-insert slide she showed. Yeah. The Velma chick and all the other ones. Yeah. They made the character become them instead of, you know. Anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What other ways are there to, you know, to turn away from this path, to make something different, to, I don't want to say go back to where we were, but history does repeat itself. So maybe in this you know, instance, it would be good to go back to where we were, but maybe with a few changes. Just let's leave out the self inserts. Can we do that? Can we at least the immature self insert one? Like, I get like someone may model a character after them, but that character doesn't have to be like them. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, this is things are going. People are going. Companies are going woke and going broke. Disney, and hopefully, GTA 6 is not affected by this woke push. But I don't know, because a lot of their new writers and stuff, where a lot of their staff is not the same as it was back in GTA 5, GTA 4 days. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's it for this video. As always, link to the channel, link to the video that we watched will be in the description below. So be sure to check out Mediaholic. And while you're there checking out her YouTube channel, be sure to do those 3 things that I like to ask you to do. And like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace, and much love to you.